paper fabric kit sells on my Etsy shop for $6. You will find the instructions and details there. Lay out your plastic to catch all the mess. You want to put down plastic. Then spread out your muslin, iron it if you want, just straighten it out all even. Start separating your napkins, take the backings off, you only want the top layer, and sort them out. Tear them up however way you want for the nice rough edges. That's a layout of what I wanted to do with my fabric, with my tissue pieces. So there's napkins and tissue. I get my PVA glue in a bucket with or a bowl with a sponge, and I'll be laying these out real gently, though you don't want to rip the tissues. Lay over the muslin first a little coat, and then start laying out your tissues however you want it. This is what it is when it's done. Everything's laid out, and I later used like glimmer mist and spray colors to color it all up. I was matching up fabric for backing. This is after it's all dry. So I'm going to use a pink backing fabric. So then I pulled out my Pelon and ironed the back to the front. There's instructions on that on the Pelon sheet for that. Ironed it out really nice and smoothly. Make sure it melts down, peels back. This is the finished product. So you'll see a nice shine. I think I put a medium on top, a glazing medium or something. That's a close-up view. Nice and shiny. I got 2 covers out of this one. So then I squared it off and started cutting out, making sure everything was nice and cut clean. Measured out my journals that I put together. And then cut out the pieces that I need. The far strip, the narrow on the very far right, is what I'll use as a little extra for the binding around it. So now I'm getting ready to sew the edges on my sewing machine so it wouldn't fray. Then in the kit you'll find some string and some beads. This is the one that I chose for the closure. It's a little piece of wood and twine. Punched holes through that piece of strip that I showed you, however long it is by 1 inch or 2 inches, and punched holes, ran the twine in and out. I wanted to have a nice support around the edge of the book. Here's the back end of it. So now I'm going to go ahead and start sewing and put an edge around it so it wouldn't fray. And then I laid it out, and I'm going to be sewing that down. It kind of crooked, it didn't stick right. This is the finished product with everything put together. And that's the backing. Then I took my paper, my mixed media paper, just cut off the spiral end of it, evened it all out, folded it in half, started making signatures. I think it was like 4. Made a guideline of my holes where I wanted to stitch my signatures and used an awl. And then you make sure they're all lined up and then start putting them all together, which I'm missing pictures. Got it sewn into my book cover. And then this is the final project with the little beads hanging off the side. You can see the signatures. Handmade. I made it, so I'm pretty confident that I'm going to like it. It's going to last a while. So lately I did a different type of a fabric paper. This did not work well at all. I like the texture. It's got gauze on this one. And the glue didn't stick because I used art paste, so then I stippled everything on there. It's another picture. I used different kinds of colors of glimmer mist. This is evened out, squared off. I ironed on the back a brown fabric to match. Again, that's the stippling I did all the way around it. This is the back, what it looks like on the inside. Then I sewed the edges to keep it from fraying. And this is the back end of the edging. Then I got together my string and another type of backing support I wanted. I used tape, ran the string through it and away from it so I can sew down the knit piece of leather. Kind of like the idea. I wanted the string. There's my sewing plastic needle. I used that to keep the frays of the string getting stuck up in the stitches. I wanted it to be able to slide back and forth. That's what it is. Completed. And there's my book. Made 2 books like this. And there's the back. I'll finish the beading on it once I get the signatures in. There's the signatures for 2 books. One is to complete my BOD premium